Hello guys, welcome to Artist Live. Today here with DeeDee Catron. That's me. I am super excited because I got 2 weeks in a row to do Artist Live for Karen and Yasmin and Rika. And so last week I did some jelly printing, and here are the results of some of our really pretty, fabulous jelly printed pages. And you can totally watch the recorded videos via Ustream or go to the Artist Live YouTube channel where all of the recordings are. If you'd like to get caught up on this one and kind of how I made these different jelly prints and the products that we used and things like that. We printed on some cardstock and on some deli paper and a couple other things, and we used different paints too. So we didn't stick with just one type of paint. We used a couple different ones. We used some Dina Wakley heavy body paint, and we used some Blick paint, and we also used Amsterdam paint. So we have some fun things happening here, and we're going to work on these today and take it to the next level by turning it into a journal and or art journal pages. And so, oh, this is my underpaper from last week, so I have all this kind of fun color left over. I don't know if I'm going to use this today, but I do have it, so I thought I might as well get it out. This is a journal that I have made previously, and so you can see here it's fairly thick. And I talk a lot when I'm doing my own teaching or kind of my own projects where I pick up different things from, because it's super important that we give credit where credit is due. So the binding of this book and how it's put together, I totally learned from Birgit Koopson, so definitely check her out. Lots of people do really fabulous art journaling, or I mean jelly printing techniques too, by the way. So please branch out in your art journaling, or God, I keep saying art journaling, in your jelly printing, because everyone does it differently. But so inside my book, and this is kind of what we're going to move towards today, my book opens like this, and then there are pages in here that have also been jelly printed. And I've bound them all together by folding the pages in half and then gluing the wrong sides together. And then I can go back in and kind of embellish them however I want. So this page has some doodling and some paint splattering and some stamping and embossing. And then all this color on this one comes directly from the jelly printing that I did before. And then here's a jelly printed page. This one has some tape and some stamping and some doodling, and we're going to go over lots of all this kind of fun stuff. Here, look at this jelly print. Isn't this cool? This is from before, from way before. Like, I did all these at different times. Here I did some gesso and things to kind of calm down this bright purple, and then I'll work on top of that. Jelly printing, incorporating stamps. I love stamping. I design a lot of stamps, so love those, and stencils. I love this print. I don't know if I'll ever actually do anything on this one. It's so beautiful. It's a bubble wrap print. Yeah, aren't these cool? So it just takes practice, but I don't want you to think like you have to be a master at jelly printing, because some of these are things that I almost was going to throw away, and then I put like one more print on them, and then look at how cool this one turned out. And two, when you start folding things in half and like moving things around, then the page changes as well. So, and then look at this page. So it had this sort of green at the bottom, so then I just did some stamping all across it and turned it sort of into a garden. And then I don't know what I'm going to do in the top, but the yellow reminds me of sunshine. And then here I had this kind of big block of pink, and I thought, oh, that's not very attractive is what I thought at first. But then I started doodling around it and kind of making it the prominent part of the page. Then I stamped this guy on a piece of white cardstock and fussy cut him out and then glued him on, and look at how cool that looks. And only sort of on this edge does he go outside of the block. Pretty neat. Oh, and this, I don't know if I'm going to like this page. We'll see. Lots of work needs to be done there. And I haven't worked on every page yet, but the really cool thing is that I just have this little book to work in whenever I'm ready. So those are from a different one, and I kind of just wanted to show you what we were moving towards. Then last time for Artist Live, we did some jelly printing, and this was one of them. I love this. I love them all so much. And two, like, I turn them upside down, flip them on their side. This one is almost all just orange, but it picked up some of this kind of cool blue around it, so I kept that one like it is. This one has 4 or 5 pulls on it. It has a green pull, a gray pull, a gray pull, and then a blue pull as well. I liked this one. I really like white space, and we have this one here. So I didn't end up with as many as I was kind of planning on, and the reason is because, and this is just cardstock, we did some jelly printing on deli paper too, which is a bit more, I don't know, I guess I could say standard for people who are jelly printing. I like jelly printing on all kinds of things. I jelly print on fabric and old book text and stuff like that. But I do have a couple of these deli paper jelly prints, but they're not really going to fit into a book per se because they're kind of funny like this. So then, kind of like big and just different sized. So then I brought out some cardstock that's the same size as the other, and I can trim these down to size and make them work in my jelly printing. And I love this ombre effect so much, so I'm going to do that one real quick. And I have some Yoo-Hoo stick here, Yoo-Hoo glue. And this cardstock that I use is just the super cheap stuff from Michael's. You get it in a pack of 50, and I wait for it to go on sale. 5 packages for $10. So then it's $2 for 50 sheets. Yeah, and then I stock up like mad. And this Yoo-Hoo I pick up at Dick Blick. And I'm just going to cover this like this. Make sure all the edges have enough glue. And then I'm going to pop this down like that. And burnish so that I make sure it has really great contact. And then I have out some long bladed scissors. Also, don't glue your page to the bottom. And you can see this blue showing through here, but when that dries, it'll be clear. I love Yoo-Hoo. It's like Elmer's glue stick on crack. How's everyone doing out there? It looks like Randy's having a few problems. Sorry about that. Is everyone else doing okay? Still watching the video? I am just trimming along the edge of my cardstock now, and I'm transferring my deli paper to this cardstock so that it's the same size, 1, and 2, so that it's nice and sturdy, and I can work on it with some of my favorite materials. And you can jelly print, you can jelly print on anything, on tags, on stickers. Sometimes I'll have like a pile of stickers to the side and I'll just run my excess paint off them. And that's always really cool because then I just have colored stickers for whatever, for my planner or for art journaling or anything like that. All right. Oh yeah, look at how cool that looks. And you can see that blue behind there is already starting to disappear. This is such a cool print, right? Oh my gosh. Okay, I love that one. Oh, it's like heaven. And then too, like I still have these leftovers. I can punch things out of these or whatever, use them in collage. And I think I want to do this one real quick too, if you don't mind. I know this isn't kind of like the really fun part of this, but we all have to get ready, right? So I was thinking like this. Like I like all this white space and kind of this orange and pink. But I like this better. Or like this. Ooh, I like that. Do you like that? I'm going to do that. Okay. So let's do this one. Sorry about my phone. I keep it on hand in case there's problems. Then our moderator, who is Karen today, by the way, thank you so much for being here, Karen. She's going to post links, guys, like links to the Yoo-Hoo and things like that. She's our moderator, so I have my phone on, so if there's a problem, she can message me about it real quick. All right, so got that one down. We'll trim that one up real quick. Okay. Now, there are two ways that we can sort of move forward from here. We can fold each of these in half like this, and just try to be as precise as possible with it. Fold each of these in half, and then you're going to crease the edge with a bone folder or a paintbrush or an acrylic block, whatever you have on hand. I almost never go find my bone folder anymore. You can use anything you want. So as long as you get like a nice even crease and your edges match up, you can fold these in half. Let me do one more so I can show you. And I love jelly printing because it's a good way to experiment with color and tools and techniques. And then also it's fun to build upon also. So if you ever just need to have like a little creative release and you're not exactly sure how or why or what you should do, then just get out your jelly printing stuff, right? So here's one jelly print and it's like lime green and grays. And then here's the other one. It's lime green, grays, and teal. And then now that I have these sort of folded in half and creased, I would butt them together so that the spine where they're going to be bound is perfect and straight. And then I would open it up, right? Perfect touchdown and even. I would open it up and I would glue all along here. And then I would glue that shut. And then when that was dry, I would lift this up and glue all along here and then glue that one back down too. And then when you opened it, it would open like this. And these two pages would be stuck together where we glued like this. Okay? So that's one way we could go about it. And then you could build up the whole book like my other one and then just work in it as you go. Or you can sort of leave these free form and loose and play on them. And then when you're done with them, you could fold them in half and bind them together. And so it just works two different ways. And it's kind of personal preference. And I actually go back and forth between the two because these now have a crease in them. If I were to put like a bunch of mediums in here, then it would all kind of go right towards the middle of the crease. So these ones I probably won't be like spraying heavily or anything like that. But these ones, if I leave them outside of my book, I can do that. And they won't get, then it won't run any particular way. It'll be a bit more free form because it's still one flat piece of paper without a crease in it. Oh yeah, Joanne, that's perfect. It's so cool. So Joanne said that she made her own jelly plate last year. And you can. So the one that I use is the Gelli Arts printing plate. And I really do love it. But there are some other types and versions out there. I've even made my own out of Amazing Mold Putty once. It's totally fine too. Or Amazing Molding Rubber, I guess. So... but it's very cool. And some people actually make them out of gelatin and then they store them in their fridge. But those usually break down over time. But they're so much cheaper. So, you know, it's definitely a personal preference thing. And if you like to do a lot of stuff yourself, you may want to make your own jelly plate. So, yes. All right. So we have all of these. And, yeah, now it's time to play. So some of the things that I really like to play with. Stencils, of course. I love stencils. And stencils are fabulous because you can put almost anything through them and they're super fun. And you can see this one has a bunch of paint on it, both sides, lots of colors, greens and purples and pinks, and a lot of gesso gets on it. And that's totally cool. But I really love these sort of stock feels. And I think I'm going to work outside of a book today. So I'm just going to work on these flat pages. Excuse me. And then more towards the end, I'll try to have a few of them dry so we can glue them together and I'll show you. But I also have, on top of other tools, I have my Prismacolor colored pencils. I have my Faber-Castell watercolor colored pencils. So these pencils activate like watercolor once you add water, but these ones do not. Okay, so that's the difference between those. I have some of my favorite stamps that I've designed for Viva Las Vegas stamps. A bunch of my art journaling ones. I have some hand-carved stamps that I've done too that weren't turned into mass-produced rubber stamps. I have various washi tapes and things like that. I thought one of the fun things I would show you today too, it's called a tip-in, TIP-IN, and it's all about like adding in pages to a book that you may have already bound. I have some, oh, this is archival ink. This is black soot archival ink in a DIY distress pad. I have some masking tapes. I have my tiny attacher because I just completely adore this thing. Oh, it doesn't seem to be. Let's fix that, shall we? There we go. Maybe not. Maybe we don't have our tiny attacher today. Funny, funny. Or maybe not so funny. I really like my tiny attacher because the staples are so small and so cute, and it works really well for whatever I might be working on. There, okay. It seems to maybe be working now. All right, so I have my tiny attacher, and I have some collage fodder. I kind of always keep this around just because oh, here's the page I want to tip in. So I'm going to do that next, but I want to show you real quick some of the other things I have. So if I forget to mention them as I pull them out, you'll kind of already know. I have some collage fodder, just some vintage book text and tissue papers and music note and like fun stuff like that. I do have a cup of water here, and I have a brush for when I'm going to get some collage done. Then I have, so this is kind of like one of my secret weapons now, and I've seen a lot of other mixed media artists use this, and you probably have too, and you actually might probably already have one, but this is a Stabilo Marxall pencil, and it's, this is the black version. It's my favorite, 8046, and basically it will write, I don't know if you can see that, but it will write on paper, glass, plastic, and metal, and then it will just wipe right off. And if you want, but if you don't want, you kind of just leave it there or seal it with something, and it's really awesome. Then I have a water brush with an empty barrel, but it has water in it. I have this. This is a Pilot G2 pen, and I'm finding this is one of the better things, one of the better ballpoint pens to art journal with. I have some charcoal. I love charcoal. And then I have a set of drawing pencils, all of the different weights. And I also have, and I think this kind of might be it, I have some different pencils. Oh, Posca paint pens. They're my favorite. Stabilo. Stabilo. Karen should give you links. Yeah, she'll give you guys some links there. These are my Posca paint pens, and I love them. I have them in all kinds of colors, but I just keep black and white on hand, and then sometimes I go back and grab the others. I have some Conti crayons. I have my Ranger Delusions paint pens by Diane Reevely, or Dilutions, however she says that. I have some water-soluble graphite, a few other things in that one. And then in this one, another stick of Yoo-Hoo, because I keep that stuff like crazy. This is one of my favorite mark makers. This is a pastry tool, a pastry wheel. And then I also have Stabilo crayons. And so these are Stabilo Woody crayons, and they're a water-soluble product as well, but they come in these really bright, kind of gorgeous, fun colors. So that, oh, and I have a white Stabilo on hand too. So the things, these are just the things that I kind of have on hand while I'll be going over and sort of art journaling and having fun in my small jelly plate today. Jelly plate prints. Yeah, that's how we should say it. Jelly print plates. Jelly plate prints. I'm not going to try and say that again. Okay, So now, one of the things I definitely want to show you because it's so super cool and I love it, love it, love it, is a tip-in. A tip-in is, for example, where you have like a book already done and you really can't bind in any more pages. You can take the edge of a page and you can add a page to it that will just fold right in. So I'm not going to do it in this book here. I'm going to do it on this page, even though this isn't in a book yet, and I could still kind of bind this in the middle if I wanted, or even like this, or something like that. Or actually, that kind of looks really cool, doesn't it? Tip in, tip in. Let's just tip in right here. I like this. Okay. So when it comes to tip-ins, the most important thing is to use a good adhesive or collage medium. If you have a favorite collage medium, I'm going to be using this. So this is matte medium, and this is the Utrecht version. And you can use different kinds. You can use like soft matte gel, or like from Prima, or you could use Golden's fluid matte medium, or holy crap, Golden's matte medium. But I'm using Utrecht's Artist Acrylic matte medium today. It's what I have, and it works fine. And it's not absolutely 100% the best, but it's pretty good. The other thing that you'll need is a tape or a binder of some kind. And so I have a few kind of fun tapes. Most of these are like tissue tapes from Tim Holtz, and I really like these. So I'm going to use this one that's very like wordsy and kind of dictionary type. And you can use you can use masking tape or duct tape or anything like that. And actually, like, if you use a masking tape or a duct tape, then you don't even need to collage it down. But I like to use these because they have fun patterns on them. So I'm going to pull off some. And you can also, hi everyone who's coming in. You can also use like book text and stuff. It doesn't have to be a tape. I just like the way the tape looks. And I also love torn edges. So I'm definitely going to tear mine. And what I'm going to do is kind of get rid of all the dust in the hair and everything that's around. I have my tape ready. I have my matte medium out. I have my paintbrush. And I'm going to butt these two right up next to each other in matte medium. Down the crease. And then right across it, and I'm going to matte medium right back over the top of that. So it's like creating a little envelope of medium around our tape. I'm going to do it on the top and the bottom. And then two, I want some in the middle. So it's very cool because once you start adding in the matte medium and start layering up your tapes and things like that, you're already getting kind of a cool base to work on top of here. Right? And it's going to take a minute to dry, but it shouldn't take too long because your matte medium is thin. We're just collaging with thin things here. And just check that it will fold in, because when we're done, we want it to fold into the middle. That's a tip in. So we're creating an extra little fold in or tip in page. Okay, that's good already. So that's good. I didn't even have to heat that dry. So now that we have that there, we're going to fold it over, and I'm going to do the same on the back because I want it to be nice and sturdy, and I don't want it to ever like come out while I'm working on it or while it's traveling around in my book bag or anything like that. And I don't have another little piece pulled off, but that's okay. It doesn't always have to be tape. Like I said, you can use other things. So I'm just going to use a little small piece of deli paper. And now this back is going to be glued to another piece of paper. So I'm not even worrying about like if there's kind of artwork here or anything like that. Do that and let that dry. Do you guys use tip-ins, or who does jelly printing out there? What are some of your favorite jelly printing techniques? Because we did the jelly printing last time, and now we're just building on top. And if you want to see that recording about how we got these cool jelly printed pages like this, you can definitely go back and you can check out on the Artist Live Ustream channel, the Artist Live YouTube channel. Either of those have the recordings. Okay, that's dry too. So we're just gonna, this one's gonna take a little bit more force because we're on this side, it's folding in, it's giving on itself. This time we're making it stretch a little bit and it has to wrap around. So I'm just gonna wrap it around. I'm gonna crease it really well there. And now I have this page, and it's not the prettiest page, this side. But look at when you open it, how cool is that? That's what's cool. Then you'll have this extra little page here. So that's kind of prepping in advance. And now I can include this too on my whole layout. So we're going to move some stuff to the side here, and I'm going to start some stamping. And the things I like to look for when I'm stamping, I like to enhance patterns. So like this one here, I stamped this birdhouse specifically in the white space that was on this page with all the color. And then this page is a bit more sparse and kind of cool. So I love how that one worked out. And then this one here, I stamped my triangles in these green stripes that I ended up with from the jelly printing. Okay, so this one doesn't really have like kind of like any fun stripey areas necessarily. Like I guess there is this sort of pink stripe over here. But I have some super stinking fun stamps, and I have those, and I have triangles, and I have this border. I love this border. So we can go in and stamp our border. All right. And when you stamp with a clean cushioned stamp, when you stamp with any stamp really, you just come down straight up and down with nice even pressure, and you don't rock the boat. And so by that I mean you don't tip your stamp over and then rock it back and forth. Because if you make a rocking motion, it lifts the stamp off the paper, and when you stamp back down, it's never going to stamp back in the exact same place. It's just not going to, okay? So we don't rock, but we do press down with nice even pressure. And then we lift up, and we have a cute border stamp. Look at how cute that is. All right, and I'm going to keep the border going. Oops, he started to turn a little bit. This one's going to be up a little high. That's okay. There, like that. And then I don't want the stamp to overlap onto this page over here. So I'm just going to mask that off with some old book text. And I don't need to ink up the whole stamp because I just need like 3 or 4 little scallops right here. Try to bring it back down a little. Don't drop your stamp. That's never, never awesome. There we go. So there's our border now. And our page is going to fold in here, and it's so cute. I love it. Now I do think that this area right here where I have some of that white showing at the bottom is not like super attractive. So I'm going to get out my pen. And this is that, it's a Pilot G2. And I'm going to kind of fake the stamp part in this area. There, that looks good. Sometimes you fake it. You fake it till you make it, right? Who says that? I can't even remember. There we go. That looks good. Looking good. Got some fun pages coming out, or a fun page. And it has a tip in, and that's so cute. And it'll be folded in half like this. So you'll open it, open this out. Love that. And so here, like you probably can tell, it's kind of just like fun. You're kind of just experimenting and testing things out and having a good time, right? Which is what we all love. So I just want to make sure that's like 100% dry before we do much else down there. What do we have here? This might look kind of cute in the corner, huh? I don't know. And I always have book text and things like that to collage in if I wanted. Usually I just have to be a bit careful about what my book text says because I always have kind of funny stuff. You know, I really like when there's like a section that comes in, so I think I'm going to do that. Oh yeah, I like that a lot. Okay. So I'm going to get back out my paintbrush and my matte medium, do a bit of collaging and incorporating some vintage text. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm sorry that, Randy, you're having trouble with Ustream. Unfortunately, that's on Ustream's part and not mine, so I'm not exactly sure. You have questions like, why is Ustream not working? But I don't know how to fix that. I'm so sorry. When you're collaging, it's fairly important to remember to put medium down and then your piece of collage, whatever. And I really want the text to be straight. That's kind of freaking me out there. There, that looks good, I think. So you put down the medium and then your collage piece, and then you put more medium right on top of it. And it creates a seal or a little envelope and kind of seals all of this paper together so that you won't be able to rip it up. All right. Loving this. And I love how this plays off of this over here. That's fun. Maybe we should put a little piece over here. Maybe you have a different one. I love this one too. I have a lot of different vintage texts. Some in different languages and excuse me, I'm going to check and see if that's Karen, just in case. No, it's not. Okay, so we're still good. There's so much fun stuff. It's so hard for me to just do anything besides collage. So one of the other things I really like to incorporate, so you saw, oops, get that off there. You saw this tape. Love that tape. So then here, this is kind of, I have a bunch of different sizes of masking tape too. And too, I have like fabric. You can do like hand stitching with fabric and you can incorporate all kinds of things. But I like this tape. So It also just occurred to me that my original intention was for this page to work like this. So to me, the text is upside down. But that doesn't really matter. No, all right, I'm going with it. And when it comes to tapes and stuff, you kind of always want to collage those down too, because they tend to not have great adhesive. Masking tape is a little bit different because it's intended for other things, but like washi tape is not usually very awesome in its adhesive category. I like stripes too, so I'm creating some stripes with the tape, kind of just having fun and collaging things on. So far I've shared with you some of my favorites. Tip-ins, tape, vintage text, stamps. I love stamps. Shall we do a tiny bit of stenciling? Maybe we'll set this to the side and let this one dry. I'm going to cut off the excess. I love it like this. All right, so there's a good one. That's a good start. I really like that one. Oh, let's see what else we can work on. Ooh, I love this one. Okay, so we can do some more. Hi, Caroline. How are you? I really love, sorry, people are coming in. I really love this whole print that we got from Gelli Printing on this one and then transferring it to the cardstock. It looks like the corner kind of came up there, so I can just collage that down a little bit. But I love the ombre effect. I love the circles. It's usually things like this that I would do more doodling on. I would totally stamp on this too. Don't get me wrong. I do love stamping and stenciling and all of that. Let's see if this is dry. I was having so much fun on this page. Okay, sorry. So, but this one I would do more doodling on. And I could do doodling with like charcoal pencils, with the Stabilo. I should show you the Stabilo because the Stabilo is very cool. And I really love it. So I might come in here and trace or outline some of these. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Remember, like, if you're a bit easier on yourself, you tend to be happier with how some of your pieces come out. And don't forget, too, to utilize some of your circles that go off of the page, too. So we'll come in. And I think we'll just... I think this one was popped. This circle was popped on my stuff there. Let's see. And we'll do this one. And this one down here. And that's good, I think. Yeah, that looks cool. So this is my favorite thing about a Stabilo. Okay, so this is the Stabilo Marxall pencil. Remember? Oh, yeah, that is really not in focus up there. Sorry. Stabilo Marxall. And then I've got my watercolor brush. And I'm just going to make sure the water's activated. See, it's coming out there. And then I'm going to go along the inside of this. Look at what happens when you start activating that with water. Is that not the coolest pencil ever? Way cooler even than some of the watercolor pencils will do and stuff like that. It's so dark and luscious. And I'm just going to keep, I'm going to do all of these. So I'm just sort of accenting or accentuating the print, the pattern for this Gelli print that we already had going. All right, and I can see right here on the clock, we just have a few minutes left. So if there was something that I kind of showed you in the beginning, a tool or supplier or something, you saw that I didn't get to, please let me know and I'll do that in the next couple minutes. Just sharing some of my favorite sort of ways to use your Gelli prints today in your art journaling and ways to accent and kind of use the patterns that you worked so hard on to get in your Gelli printing. All right. Oh, it's so cool. I love this. All right, and then where these have started to dry, I can go back and do more doodling there. So I might take my pen, make sure it's good, make sure this is dry. Let's see, that one's still drying, this one's dry. So I can write along the outside of this. And two, you'll probably have seen like, let's see, who does this? Well, Donna Downey does this, Ray Missigman, Robin Marie Smith, Julie Fifan Balzer, Dina Wakely. Like, this is such a cool way to get some journaling in, especially if it's not something that you want someone else to read. So you just accentuate like the loops and swirls, and you kind of squish your letters together, and you like purposely make it not legible, but you're still getting your journaling out and down, right? So and two, sometimes you want this effect but maybe you don't have anything to journal. It's always better if you start with an idea in your head or something specific. So hold on just a second, sorry. So for example, if you don't have something specific to journal about, you can always like do a song lyric. So I'll do that sometimes too. And I love David Bowie. He's my favorite. So I usually, not usually, but if I don't have anything to journal, then I'll journal one of his song lyrics. Or sometimes I talk about my family or the day or something like that. But the idea is that right now you're going to use your handwriting to sort of create this fun pattern where you're writing. Kind of like this. So let's do one and then you'll understand more, right? Okay, so I'm going to be a little bit quiet while I think about this in my head, but... like that. See how cool that looks? And I brought in too, like if they had tails on the letters, then I brought those in too. And I'm not going to do that on every one of them because I really like kind of how just specifically it makes this one pop out. I might do some doodling to make that circle a bit more prominent. But then I could do it again down here on this one. And I tend to turn my paper to keep my lines accurate. So if I did like this and then I tried to turn it this way, it would look kind of funky. But I just keep writing up and down and turn my page so that it goes which way I want it. Yeah, like that. And now you can kind of see what I meant by making your loops taller, your swoops bigger, your tails longer, and then sort of squishing everything else together. So like if I were to write like star, this is my cursive and it's going to be upside down to you. But well, that's okay. So Randy said mine would never look like that. But everyone's looks different. So this is mine, and you have to remember that. Yours will look cool, but it will be yours. So this is my really terrible cursive normally. So it says star, S-T-A-R. But if I wanted to look like that, then I would do like this. So here's the S. The T comes really big. The A is kind of floating, kind of squishy like this. And then the R, instead of being an R, it's like this. It's just, you just like accentuate everything. And I totally came back and crossed my T. And if I was writing like, so this is jar, but if I was writing it kind of that fun thing, I would do this. There's jar. So J, way back up, A, and R. And I would come back and dot it. So when you dot it, it just adds like other sort of little kind of fun like areas around there. All right, so yeah, this is what I'm turning this print into, and I know it looked really good before, and it's kind of in a middle tone right now, and we like this piece, and we like this piece, and we may not like these ones exactly, but let me show you one other kind of cool thing that I like to do when it comes to circles. So I love how this is looking on the inside, and I love that it's clean on the outside, but two, I might come back in and do some kind of fun circling like this, and I'm very specifically not making it really black, because then if I come in here and draw in, let's see if I make sure it does this like this, I can kind of color these in. And a paint pen would work really well for this too. And I might have to go back in and kind of darken them up with a paint pen. But the really fun part is where the lines, the stripes come out different thicknesses and different widths because you didn't keep your circles like this perfectly. You kind of went bigger over here and smaller over here. There, like that. So that one's fun too. And yeah, it's just kind of fun, and you should be like open and free. And when you experiment with things like this and you just kind of have fun and you practice with your tools and techniques, then you end up with a journal that's a bit more like this. And it's not necessarily finished. It still has lots of places and lots of areas for me to go in and have fun and kind of doodle and maybe take a couple stamps with me or whatever and stencils and things like that. But it's just a release. It's always a release, right? We don't always have to have our head in our phone if you're waiting in line, or yeah, look, like Joanne said. So she said it's fun to do and pass the time at the doctor's office or the dentist's office. Totally. Or if you have, if your kid's playing hockey or doing taekwondo or whatever, anytime, or even if you're sitting in front of a TV, sit in front of the TV, watch your favorite show. We all love to binge watch TV. I watch so much TV, it's crazy. But have a few Gelli printed pages with you, and then you can just have fun, and it's a good release. An airplane, it's so easy to pack products to take on an airplane. Definitely, Karen. Definitely. And especially if you're traveling, to teach, if you're traveling to teach classes or whatever. Just keep like pens, a couple water soluble things, and you can't take a cup of water with you, right? But you could take a water bottle, or you can take the paintbrush. Of course, guys, I have tools everywhere right here, but you can take the paintbrush with the empty barrels. Oh, yeah, the water brushes like this. Have a couple of those with you. That's all you need. And then your colored pencils and your watercolor pencils. So I didn't even get to the Stabilo Marxall. I mean, I did get the Stabilo Marxall, but the Stabilo Woodies, I didn't get to those. They'll add color. They'll act like this Stabilo Marxall, just with fun, bright colors. And then watercolor pencils and things like that too. Yeah, doodle while you're watching TV, whatever, while you're waiting in the airport, while you're on the plane. Just have a couple of small journals or a couple small pages like this, and then some of your favorite black and white tools, and then a few ways to add color. And that's great. And Gelli printing, the reason I like to Gelli print first, and this will tie it all back together for you. The reason I like to Gelli print first is because it gives me a base. It gives me somewhere to start. It's a chunk of pink with a strip of white and some orange. And then I tipped in some orange and yellow with a strip of pink, right? So then I have a tip in, and I can keep doodling on this and painting and stenciling and adding things to it. This one, it was an ombre effect. It was yellow, and then it worked its way through orange to this kind of corally pink color over here, but it had these really fun, big circles on it that we could detail and we could sketch, and I could keep going forever on this page. I love circles. And you can do other things, other stencils, right? So on this page here, we have these fun circles, but what's more fun is these overlapping circles that we have on the inside. And we have strips of color and these fun marks from that little plastic piece. Yeah, there's so much. This one, so we have this great pink block and this orange, and then where they overlapped, they became this kind of funny orange color. And then we brought in some teal and got some really interesting tones that way too. So these things are so great to have on hand as a starting point. So sit back with your Gelli printing, your Gelli plate, do some printing, use your favorite colors and your stencils and your stamps, and then let those dry, and you'll have a bunch of really great little pages to have to start embellishing. Okay, that's it for today's show. I mean, I could keep going for another hour, but so coming up next time, guys, definitely be here. Yasmin will be here, and it's always really great to be here with you. I won't be joining you super regularly next year for 2017. Not every month, but I will be there at least every quarter. Okay. So thanks again for being here. And yeah, don't forget you can watch all the recordings on the Ustream channel or on the YouTube channel. Search for Artist Live and be here next week for Yasmin. Thank you, Karen, for being here. And I will see you guys around. Bye.